guys, what's going on? It's MassiveJoes RAW review, and I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Awesome raw review for the viewers at home today on an all new, unique, stimulant-free fat loss support supplement from our good friends at Rule 1. It is, of course, Lean 5 in the house. Let's get straight into it, show you guys exactly what's in it, tell you exactly what it's gonna do. That nutritional information panel ain't gonna get it done. We're about to go balls deep in this here Rule 1 Lean 5. Luckily got ourselves a big ass nutritional information panel for the viewers at home. Dilip cut up that panel on the screen so the viewers can play along in their comfort of their own homes. Starting from the top, serving size 1 scoop, 5.6 grams. Got yourself about 60 of them 1 scoop, 5.6 gram bitches. And one of these Rule 1 Lean 5 60 serve bitches. In terms of what the 5.6 grams is made up of, Rule 1 have been courteous enough to go full disclosure on their nutritional information panel so we can add up all of the active ingredients and quickly discover that there's 2.6 grams of them in a 5.6 gram scoop. So we're dealing with 46% active ingredients, 54% artificial flavors, colors, and sweeteners, which is a lot. More than half, as a matter of fact, at 54%, much more than we like to see in any type of supplement. That being said, it's 54% of 5.6 grams, so it's like 2.8 grams. So it's not a big number in its own right, and the reason why there's such a big percentage of flavors, colors, and sweeteners is because when you try and mask the flavor of some of the active ingredients that we're about to go through, those of you who have tried those active ingredients by themselves would know that they taste horrible, hence the use of the excessive amount of artificial colors, flavors, and sweeteners. Let's get straight into it. Now we can move along the nutritional information panel. We'll go through the macros because it is useful to know that there are actually macros in this here Rule 1 Lean 5. There's calories, there's 15 calories per scoop, and those calories are coming from fat. So there's just over 1 gram of fat that's primarily made up of CLA, and there is some carbohydrate in there as well, and we can only take a guess that that carbohydrate is coming from the flavoring system because none of the active ingredients that we're about to go through actually contain carbohydrates. Starting from the top, we've got CLA, conjugated linoleic acid, in a 750 milligram dose. For viewers at home who are unaware, CLA encourages the use of fatty acids for energy, so fatty acids from the foods that you eat for energy, and also helps maintain muscle mass when you're in a caloric deficit. So it allows your body to effectively improve body composition. It helps your body lose body fat and maintain muscle mass at the same damn time, which is what we're trying to do when we're trying to lose body fat. We're not trying to lose muscle at the same time. We're trying to improve our body composition. The easiest way I can explain what CLA does and how CLA works without getting into the nitty gritty is it encourages your body to use fats from external sources, so fats from the foods and supplements that you consume, as an energy source rather than storing them as body fat. So CLA encourages your body to use fats from the foods and supplements that you consume as energy instead of storing them as body fat. Moving right along, actually, before we move right along, let's just discuss the clinical dose. So CLA, the clinical or efficacious dose, is up for debate, but it's generally regarded as between 1,000 and 3,000 milligrams per day. So 1 to 3 grams per day. In 1 scoop of this Rule 1 Lean 5, you've got 750 milligrams. That being said, it is recommended to take it twice per day. So when you're taking it twice per day, you're getting 1.5 grams or 1,500 milligrams. So it puts it smack bang in the middle, almost perfectly in the middle of that efficacious dosing range. Moving right along, We then get into Garcinia Cambogia extract, also 750 milligrams, and this Garcinia has been standardized to 60% hydroxycitric acids, which is why we're having Garcinia in the first place. What hydroxycitric acid does is it inhibits something called the ATP citrate lyase enzyme, which is the enzyme responsible for the conversion of glucose into triglycerides or carbs into fats. So effectively what we're getting from Garcinia Cambogia, from the hydroxycitric acid in the Garcinia Cambogia, is a fat blocker, is the easiest way to describe it. In terms of the efficacious or the clinical dose of hydroxycitric acid is 250 milligrams to 500 milligrams of Garcinia Cambogia when it is standardized to 60% HCA, which is what we do have in this Rule 1 Lean 5. So it is actually quite significantly overdosed in each and every scoop at 750 milligrams. Moving right along, we then get into L-Carnitine as L-Carnitine L-Tartrate, also in a 750 milligram dose. L-Carnitine L-Tartrate is the tartaric acid salt of L-Carnitine, which helps, the tartaric acid helps improve the bioavailability of the L-Carnitine. For viewers at home who are unaware, L-Carnitine is the amino acid primarily responsible for the transport of body fat stored in fat cells into the mitochondria of muscle cells, where that fat can be used for energy. So we call L-Carnitine a fat transporter technically, but usually referred to as a fat metabolizer because of that transporting function of actually transporting fat from where it's being stored and can't be used to a place where it can be used and hence burnt. In terms of the clinical dose of L-Carnitine, L-Tartrate or L-Carnitine in general, you're generally looking at between 1 to 2 grams. So 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams in each scoop of this Rule 1 Lean 5. You've got 750 milligrams of L-Carnitine L-Tartrate. That being said, it is recommended to take it twice a day, which puts your daily intake at 1,500 milligrams, which is smack bang in the middle of that efficacious dosing range. Moving right along, we then get into raspberry ketones, which I'm just going to I'm actually, you know what? I don't do this very often, but I'm not even going to talk about raspberry ketones because, to be honest with you guys, there is no evidence that they do sweet all in the human body. No evidence. There's evidence that they do things in vitro, in test tubes, at stupidly high concentrations, but in a 250 milligram dose, as seen in this Rule 1 Lean 5 and as seen in most supplements, to be honest with you guys, absolutely nothing in the human body. So we're going to skip completely over the raspberry ketones and we're going to move on to the very next ingredient. Just keeping it 100 with you viewers at home, you know that's how I roll. Green tea extract, the fifth and final ingredient in this Rule 1 Lean 5 in a 100 milligram dose. The green tea extract is in here because it yields something called Camellia sinensis, which in its own right contains epicats or epicatechins. And what epicatechins do is they increase glucose uptake to muscle cells, which means you're getting more glucose in your muscle cells where you want it and less glucose floating around your bloodstream where it could be converted into triglycerides and stored as body fat. Epicats also act as a bronchodilator, so decrease the resistance in your respiratory airways to increase airflow to your lungs, so like turbocharging your body effectively. You get more oxygen in, you can burn more body fat for energy. In terms of the clinical dose of Camellia sinensis, it doesn't really matter. We're not even going to talk about it in this here Rule 1 Lean 5 because we can't compare it to anything because we don't know. All we know is there's green tea extract at 100 milligrams. We don't know the standardization of Camellia sinensis, but most importantly, we don't know the standardization of epicatechins or epicats. So all of those things I just discussed, we actually don't know if there's the sufficient amount in here to achieve those results. Moving right along, or not moving right along, that's it. Those are the 5 ingredients in Rule 1 Lean 5. Got yourself some artificial colors, artificial flavors. And that's what's in it. So it's quite a simple supplement. Lean 5, obviously the name represents the 5 ingredients. Personally would have called it Lean 5 and got rid of them raspberry ketones out of this bitch, but that's just me personally, right? That's what we're here to do raw reviews for, is to give suggestions to these companies when they reformulate their products. But very simple product, very intelligently put together product. If you look at, put raspberry ketones aside, let's look at the 4 ingredients that are actually going to work in this product. You look at those 4 ingredients, you've got an ingredient that is going to shuttle stored body fat into muscle cells so it can be burnt. You've got an ingredient that encourages your body to use fat from the foods that you eat as energy rather than store it as body fat. You've got an ingredient that stops the conversion of excess carbohydrates into body fat. And you've got an ingredient that makes sure the carbohydrates you consume are being pushed into muscle cells rather than stored as body fat. So it is quite an intelligent formula in the way that it's been put together. If you think about the sorts of things that the formula is missing, keeping in mind that this is a stimulant-free fat loss formula. So let's not even consider caffeine, theobromine, synephrine, all of those stimulant-based thermogenic ingredients, because this is marketed and designed to be stimulant free. So if you think about what it's kind of missing from a stimulant free fat loss supplement perspective, probably only 2 things. The first of those things would be chlorogenic acid, which is going to regulate your blood sugar levels and increase your insulin sensitivity, which is very important when you're trying to lose body fat. And the second thing is something that helps vasodilate or widen blood vessels and improve the power of your heartbeat. So to really work in combination with the Camellia sinensis to get that kind of turbocharging effect. And that of course would be forskolin. But apart from those 2 ingredients, it is quite a complete stimulant-free fat loss formula, and it is quite intelligently put together, and with the active ingredients in there, very, very well dosed. In terms of how it tastes, how it mixes, comes in 3 flavors as a matter of fact. I've only tried 2 of them. Comes in blue raspberry lemonade, comes in Hawaiian blast, comes in tropical rush. Of those 3 flavors, as I mentioned, I have tried 2 of them already, that being the blue raspberry lemonade and the Hawaiian blast. The Hawaiian blast is fucking unbelievable, I must say, viewers at home, absolutely amazing. The blue raspberry lemonade is one of the better blue raspberry flavors that I have tried. It is definitely on the citrus side of things, so definitely a lemonade based flavor, which for me personally, I don't generally get down with citrus. The flavor that I have yet to try, that I'm about to bust open in this raw review for you viewers at home, is this here Tropical Rush. Infamous MassiveJoes taste and mixability test about to go down. Got the double wall glass with a spoon. Got my brand spanking new tub of Rule 1 Lean 5, aka Lean 4. I can't wait for the letters from my brothers at Rule 1. You can't say that, Joe. Oh, I just did. Anyway, bust open this bitch. I'm gonna take myself 1 scoop of this here Rule 1 Lean 5. Just like that. Throw this bitch in this bitch and let it rain, let it rain. A few flicks of the wrist. Let me show you guys how it mixes. And for the very first time, I'm gonna try this Tropical Rush flavor. See how this Tropical Rush flavor tastes, man. All right, I think that's enough. As you guys can see, small serving size, obviously, only just over 5 grams. It is gonna mix relatively well in a glass with a spoon. There's no real floaters in there. There are sinkers accumulating at the bottom, but just mix it up again, throw it down. Because of that, I would go so far as to say blender ball is not required. For this here Rule 1 Lean 5, let me for the first time on camera see how this Tropical Rush tastes, man. It's not bad. It's not bad. They've done very well with that flavor as well. It is definitely a cherry-based American fruit punch flavor. And all the Australians watching this will know exactly what I mean when I say that. It's very cherry-based. And the cherry really does hit you, but the flavor is really quite nice, hence why I drank the whole thing. The flavors across the board, they're really good, and they should be really good. They're using 54% artificial colors, sweeteners, and flavors. If you can't make a supplement taste good when over half of it is the flavoring system, you got some serious problems. So fortunately, Rule 1 have really come through with the goods with the flavoring system in this here Lean 5. If I had to rank the flavors, like I mentioned, man, the Hawaiian Blast, whoo, amazing. Then I'd probably go the Blue Raspberry Lemonade after that, and then probably the Tropical Rush, just because of the overpowering cherry flavor would be after that. The one thing that I do have to say with the flavors, just so it doesn't catch you by surprise, there is a significant dose of CLA in here, the 750 milligrams per scoop. For those of you who have used CLA in oil or liquid capsule form before, or even in powdered form, you know that CLA by itself has a very unique taste. It's like it tastes like CLA, and once you recognize that taste, you'll recognize it every time you have it. And there is definitely a CLA aftertaste in this Rule 1 Lean 5. There's really no escaping it. So just so it doesn't catch you guys by surprise, just be prepared that that initial taste is really good, and then you are going to get that really unique, typical CLA aftertaste come through after that. In terms of the effects, because that's what you're taking this shit for, man. And it provides a little bit of a challenge, because this is the sort of supplement that you will not feel working. It's not a thermogenic stimulant-based fat burner. It's not the sort of fat burner that you're going to take it and 10-15 minutes later you're going to feel an uplift in energy, your body temperature is going to rise, you get all those feelings that you get from a good thermogenic based fat burner. You don't get any of that at all. This is a non-stimulant, very well thought out, very well put together fat loss supplement, but there's no transient effect here. This is about long-term effect. This is about looking at fat loss supplementation and saying, thermogenics aside, because we all know thermogenics work, what other ingredients are important when it comes to fat loss supplementation? Of course, then you start looking at your carnitine and your different carnitine salts. You look at your essential fatty acids, and in particular CLA, and you look at things like fat blockers and glucose uptake enhancers and things that are actually going to get your body to use nutrients the way that they need to be used to allow you to lose body fat. So in terms of what you're actually going to feel using this Rule 1 Lean 5, you ain't going to feel a thing. And that's just being honest with you guys. But in terms of the long-term effects or the medium-term effects while you're trying to lose body fat, it is a very important supplement. Viewers at home who have seen a bunch of our videos on YouTube would know that we consistently preach the fat loss triangle, which one side of the triangle is thermogenics, very important. The other side is essential fatty acids, in particular CLA, and the other side are fat metabolizers, in particular L-Carnitine. So this really is about saying, you've got your thermogenic fat loss supplement, and then this can fill in the other parts of that fat loss triangle. This can fill in the gaps. It's actually gonna not just give you that transient effect of increased energy, increased mental focus, make you feel hot for a couple of hours. This is actually gonna allow your body to lose body fat. In terms of how to take it, because I know a lot of you are going to want to know exactly how you take this supplement. When I was using it, when I was prepping for the Pro Qualifier in 2016, I was having this between meals. So I'd have it twice per day. This was my source of CLA effectively. So I'd have it twice per day. I'd have a morning dose in between meal 2 and 3. And then I'd have an afternoon dose in between meal 4 and 5. So I was taking it on an empty stomach in between meals to give my body the hydroxycitric acid to make sure that I was using nutrients as well as I could be in between meals to assist with fat loss. In terms of the side effects of this product, nothing that I or anybody else at MassiveJoes has personally experienced. In terms of the stackability of this product, I have briefly gone over the fat loss triangle again. In terms of if you're trying to get the best possible fat loss results, you do really need to stack it with a stimulant-based fat burner, with a thermogenic fat burner. And in that regard, it's gonna stack pretty well with anything. There's no ingredient that you have to be worried about overdosing on. There's no ingredient that's gonna kind of overlap with another ingredient that might be in a thermogenic. But I would be looking at like your pure thermogenic fat loss supplements, something like an MTS drop factor, something like an Olympus Labs blood shred. Those real just thermogenic stimulant-based fat burners are gonna stack best with this Rule 1 Lean 5. The final thing I will say about it is the value for money is really, really good, especially when you start looking at it as those two sides of the fat loss triangle, a source of CLA and a source of carnitine. You're looking in the Australian market at $59.95 for 60 full serves. That makes it $1 per serve, $2 per day, $30 a month. But guys, if you're in the market for a really well put together, delicious, good value for money, non-stimulant fat burner in its own right, or source of CLA and carnitine that you can stack with your thermogenic fat burner to really turbocharge your fat loss results, you have to give yourself some of this Rule 1 Lean 5 a shot, guys. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, man. If you're watching this on the mobile, don't forget to turn those post notifications on so you don't miss a beat when it comes to the MassiveJoes YouTube channel. And guys, that is MassiveJoes RAW review on the all new Rule 1 Lean 5 in the house. And I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Stay massive.